The tow truck driver laughed when he saw the woman's dead sedan. "That car isn't worth the hook," he said. Then he demanded cash before he would even open the hood. The woman looked tired, but she did not beg. She only asked for a receipt. That was when mechanic Caleb Turner stepped out of his garage. He told the driver to leave and pushed the sedan himself. The woman thanked him, then glanced at one broken brake fitting. "That part was recalled 6 months ago," she said. Caleb stopped. Most stranded drivers could not identify a brake fitting. Who was she, and why was she driving a car that should never have passed inspection? Turner Auto Repair sat outside Bellwood, North Carolina. The town had one traffic light, 2 churches, and a grocery store that closed at 8. Caleb had owned the garage for 9 years. He was 42, divorced, and raising his 17-year-old daughter, Lily. He worked hard, paid his bills, and trusted machines more than promises. The woman introduced herself as Naomi Blake. She said she was traveling to Atlanta for a temporary consulting job. Her phone had died, and her wallet was somewhere inside the locked trunk. Caleb looked at the cracked screen in her hand. "That's a rough morning. You have no idea. I probably have some idea." Lily came out carrying a mug and a stack of invoices. She studied Naomi's plain jeans, muddy shoes, and expensive posture. "You can wait inside," Lily said. "The heater works better than Dad's personality." Caleb gave her a look. "My personality is fine. It needs alignment." Naomi smiled for the first time. Inside the garage, Caleb examined the brake system. The damaged fitting carried the stamp of Redline Automotive Supply. Redline provided parts to hundreds of shops across the southeast. Caleb had stopped ordering from them months earlier. Too many boxes arrived mislabeled. Too many customer complaints disappeared after he reported them. Naomi stood beside the workbench. "Did you file those complaints?" "3 times, and nobody followed up." "You ask a lot of questions for someone waiting on a repair." She looked toward the open bay door. "Bad parts can kill people." Caleb heard something sharp beneath her calm voice. Not fear, anger. He held up the damaged fitting. This didn't fail from normal wear. Naomi's expression changed. "What caused it?" she asked. "Someone installed a counterfeit part." At that moment, a black SUV slowed outside the garage. The driver stared through the windshield, then kept moving. Naomi watched it disappear. She had seen that vehicle before. Naomi waited until Caleb returned to the garage floor. Then she stepped outside and called a number from memory. A man answered on the second ring. "You were supposed to check in an hour ago. I lost my phone." "Naomi, that SUV passed your location twice. I saw it." The man was Marcus Reed, her head of security. He wanted to send a car immediately. Naomi refused. "Stay close, but do not come inside," she said. "I need to know who is watching this shop. You also need working brakes. I found someone handling that." Naomi ended the call before Marcus could argue. She had not lied about traveling for work. She had lied about almost everything else. Naomi Blake was 36, and the chief executive of Blake Mobility Group. The company owned Redline Automotive Supply and several regional manufacturers. Her father had built the business, then handed it to her 2 years earlier. Since then, accident claims had increased. Internal reports blamed careless repair shops. Naomi did not believe them. 3 mechanics had sent detailed complaints about mislabeled parts. Their reports disappeared before reaching her office. Caleb Turner was one of those mechanics. Naomi had planned to visit his shop quietly. She wanted records, not romance or loyalty. The dead sedan had not been part of the plan. The counterfeit brake fitting changed everything. Inside, Caleb photographed the damaged part beside its packaging. He wrote the serial number on an invoice and handed Naomi a copy. "Keep this," he said. "Someone may ask where the part came from. You think the supplier will deny it? They already denied the others." Lily looked up from the front desk. "Dad keeps every email." Caleb frowned. You don't need to advertise my trust issues. They're organized trust issues. Naomi smiled, but her attention stayed on the invoice. Can I see those emails? She asked. Caleb studied her. Why? I work with supply contracts. That's not the same as accident investigations. No, but I know how companies bury complaints. His expression changed slightly. You sound experienced. I am. Before he could question her, a delivery truck pulled into the lot. The Redline logo covered both sides. The driver carried in 3 boxes and dropped them near the service bay. Caleb checked the labels. Then he opened the first box. Every part inside carried the same recalled serial number. Naomi felt her stomach tighten. The driver looked at her face, then reached for his phone. Someone had sent those boxes knowing she was there. The delivery driver lowered his phone when Caleb looked over. Who were you calling? Caleb asked. My dispatcher. You didn't say a word. The driver glanced toward Naomi. They asked me to confirm the delivery. Caleb checked the shipping label. His shop name was correct, but the order number was not his. I never ordered these parts. The driver shrugged. I just bring what they load. Naomi stepped closer. Who signed the release? I don't know. You should have a digital record. The driver's eyes narrowed. You work here? No. Then this isn't your business. Caleb moved between them. His voice stayed calm. She almost crashed because of one of these parts. That makes it her business. The driver refused to answer more questions. He climbed into the truck and left the boxes behind. Lily watched him pull away. That was normal and not suspicious at all. Caleb opened the second box. The labels looked official, but the adhesive was fresh. Someone had placed new serial stickers over older ones. Naomi photographed everything with Lily's phone. You're very comfortable collecting evidence, Caleb said. I've handled supplier disputes before. That still sounds carefully incomplete. Naomi met his eyes. It is. Caleb waited. She wanted to tell him who she was. Instead, she chose a smaller truth. The company I consult for has a connection to Redline, she said. I came here because your complaints were ignored. His expression hardened. You knew my name before today? Yes. And the broken car? That was real. Caleb leaned against the workbench. So you plan to walk in here and question me without telling me why? I planned to ask for records. Under a fake reason. Naomi looked down at the damaged fitting. I thought people would speak more freely. That depends on whether they feel respected. The words landed harder than he intended. He saw it in her face. Lily broke the silence. Can we focus on the parts that might kill somebody? Caleb nodded. She's right. They spent the next hour comparing serial numbers. Every box traced back to the same distribution warehouse outside Charlotte. Naomi recognized the facility immediately. Her younger brother, Julian, had taken control of that division 6 months earlier. Her stomach tightened. Caleb noticed. You know that warehouse. I know who runs it. Before she could explain, the garage phone rang. Caleb answered on speaker. A polished male voice filled the room. Mr. Turner, this is Blake Mobility Group. Stop examining that shipment, or your supplier account will be terminated today. Naomi knew the voice. It belonged to her brother. Caleb kept one hand on the receiver. You sent dangerous parts to my shop. Now you want me to ignore them? The man on the phone did not hesitate. I'm telling you to follow company procedure. Company procedure nearly killed a woman. Naomi stepped closer to the desk. She knew Julian's polished tone. He used it whenever he wanted a threat to sound reasonable. Caleb looked at her. You recognize him? Naomi nodded once. The voice continued. Seal the shipment and wait for pickup. Do not contact customers or local media. Caleb's jaw tightened. You don't get to decide that. Julian laughed softly. Actually, Mr. Turner, we control your supplier agreement. We can freeze every account tied to this shop. Lily stood beside her father. Can he do that? He can try, Caleb said. Naomi reached for the phone. Julian, stop. Silence filled the garage. Then Julian spoke more carefully. "Naomi?" Caleb turned toward her. Julian's tone changed. "You should not be there. That shipment should not exist," she replied. "You don't understand what you're looking at." "I understand. Recalled parts were relabeled and sent to a mechanic who reported them. This is not the place to discuss internal business. No. It's the place where your internal business became someone else's danger." Julian ended the call. Caleb stared at Naomi. "You called him by his first name." "Yes. And he knew yours." "Yes." Lily folded her arms. "This is getting less normal by the minute." Naomi took a slow breath. "Julian Blake runs the Charlotte warehouse." "Blake," Caleb repeated. "As in Blake Mobility Group. He's part of the family." Caleb waited for the rest. Naomi did not give it. "You said you were a consultant," he said. "I work with the company." "That is not the same answer." "I know." Caleb looked toward the boxes. "You came here because my complaints disappeared. Your car failed on the way. Then someone sent counterfeit parts directly to my shop." Naomi nodded. "And now, a company executive knows where you are." "Yes." Caleb stepped away from the desk. "Give me one good reason to trust you." Naomi looked at him without defending herself. "You shouldn't," she said. Not yet. Outside, the black SUV returned and stopped across the road. 2 men stepped out. Naomi recognized Marcus immediately. The second man worked for Julian. Marcus looked toward the garage. Then he reached inside his coat. Caleb moved Lily behind him. Naomi walked toward the open bay door. "Lock the office," she said. "And don't let anyone touch those boxes." Marcus raised both hands before Caleb could reach for a wrench. "Easy," he said. "I'm security, not trouble." The second man stopped beside the SUV. His name was Eric Dalton, Julian's operations manager. He carried a locked metal case. Naomi stood in the garage doorway. "Why are you here, Eric?" "To collect company property. The boxes stay." Eric looked past her toward Caleb. "This matter does not involve the repair shop." Caleb stepped beside Naomi. "Those parts were delivered to my address. That makes them evidence." Eric gave him a cold smile. "You are a mechanic, Mr. Turner. Let the company handle company business." Naomi's expression hardened. "He understands the problem better than you do." Marcus moved closer. "Miss Blake, we should call local authorities." Caleb looked at Naomi. "Miss Blake?" he repeated. She did not answer quickly enough. Eric opened the metal case and removed several documents. The Blake Mobility logo appeared across the top page. Below, it was Naomi's photograph. "Naomi Blake, Chief Executive Officer." Lily read the heading over Caleb's shoulder. "You're the CEO?" Naomi closed her eyes for 1 second. "Yes." Caleb stared at her. "You said you worked with the company." "I do. You own it. My family owns most of it. I run it. And you came here pretending to be a consultant." "I came to investigate complaints that never reached my office." Caleb looked toward the broken sedan. "Was that planned too?" "No. The brake failure was real, but meeting me wasn't. I knew your name before I arrived." His face changed. The anger was quiet, but clear. "You let me explain my records," he said. "You watched me defend my shop, all while you knew you controlled the company threatening it. I should have told you sooner." "When?" Naomi had no good answer. Eric stepped forward. "This conversation is unnecessary. Sign the release, and we can remove the shipment." Naomi took the papers from him and tore them in half. "No one removes anything," she said. "Marcus, call the sheriff's office. Then contact federal transportation investigators." Eric's confidence slipped. "Julian will fight this." "So will I." He returned to the SUV without another word. Marcus walked outside to make the calls. Lily followed him, giving her father and Naomi space. Caleb remained near the workbench. "I cared about the woman standing beside me," he said. "Now I don't know how much of her was real." "All of it was real, except Your name meant something you chose not to tell me. Naomi nodded. You're right. You didn't trust me with the truth. I was afraid you would stop talking. You took that choice away from me. She did not defend herself. Caleb pointed toward the office. You can wait there until the sheriff arrives. After that, I need space. Naomi accepted the boundary. For the first time since becoming CEO, she walked away without giving an order. The sheriff arrived 20 minutes later with a state investigator. Marcus handed over the shipment records and security footage from the road. Naomi gave a full statement. She did not protect Julian or soften her own role. I entered the shop without explaining who I was, she said. Mr. Turner had no reason to believe I controlled the supplier he was reporting. The investigator looked at Caleb. Did she pressure you to cooperate? No, Caleb said. But she let me talk without giving me the full truth. Naomi accepted the answer, without looking away. The recalled parts were sealed as evidence. The broken brake fitting was placed in a separate bag. By late afternoon, the garage felt too quiet. Lily stood near the office door. Are we going to lose the shop? Caleb looked at Naomi before answering. I don't know. Naomi stepped forward. Your account will not be frozen. Caleb's expression hardened. You don't get to fix this with one phone call. I know. Do you? He placed both hands on the workbench. You came here knowing who I was. You knew my complaints had been ignored. Then you acted like we were figuring it out together. We were. No, I was figuring it out. You were watching me. Naomi took the words without arguing. I did not come here to test your character, she said. I came because my own company failed you. But you still used a false story. Yes, you had power over my business. I deserved to know that. You did. Caleb studied her face. Why didn't you tell me? Naomi answered honestly. Because I liked how you treated me before you knew my title. That does not make it better. I know. You wanted something real, so you started it with a lie. Naomi lowered her voice. I was wrong. My reasons do not erase the harm. You do not owe me trust, forgiveness, or another conversation. Lily watched them from across the room. She looked angry, but also disappointed. Caleb opened the side door. I need you to leave, he said. Naomi nodded. I'll respect that. She walked outside alone. Marcus waited near the road, but he did not open the SUV door for her. Before getting inside, Naomi looked back at the garage. Caleb had already turned away. For the first time, losing control of the company felt less frightening than losing the respect of one honest man. Naomi returned to Charlotte that evening. By morning, she had suspended Julian and Redline's operations manager. The board demanded a private explanation. Naomi refused to keep the investigation behind closed doors. Our parts reached repair shops under false labels, she said. People could have died. We will disclose what happened and cooperate fully. Julian sat across from her, pale with anger. You are destroying our family's company, he said. No. You risked lives to protect quarterly numbers. You don't have proof that I approved counterfeit parts. I have proof you silenced mechanics who reported them. Julian looked around the table. Several directors avoided his eyes. Naomi ordered a nationwide recall. She also hired an independent safety firm to inspect every Redline warehouse. The decision cost millions and halted several production lines. She signed it anyway. Then she wrote Caleb a short email. The investigation has started. Your records helped protect people. I will not contact you again unless authorities require it. She did not apologize a second time. Another apology would only ask him to carry her guilt. In Bellwood, the garage reopened after 2 days. Caleb switched suppliers and warned every customer who had received Redline parts. The work was exhausting. Lily helped after school, though she remained quieter than usual. You miss her, Lily said one evening. Caleb kept sorting invoices. That isn't the issue. It can be an issue and still not be the only issue. He looked at his daughter. When did you get so reasonable? Probably from Mum. That was unnecessary. Lily smiled. but only briefly. Caleb had liked Naomi's sharp humor and steady attention. He had trusted the way she listened. Those feelings did not disappear when her title became public, but neither did the lie. 3 weeks later, a recall notice reached Turner Auto Repair. It clearly admitted that Redline had ignored earlier complaints. Caleb's name was not used without permission. A separate letter confirmed that small shops could submit documented losses. Claims would be reviewed by an outside administrator. Naomi had built a process. She had not created a favor for him. Caleb placed the letter beside the original brake-fitting photograph. For the first time, he wondered whether she was changing because she had lost his trust, or because telling the truth had finally become more important than keeping control. By early spring, Blake Mobility had inspected every Redline warehouse. The results were worse than Naomi expected. 2 facilities had altered safety reports. Several managers had rewarded speed over accuracy. Julian had approved the system, but others had helped maintain it. Naomi released the findings publicly. The board warned her that full disclosure could damage the company for years. She signed the report anyway. "People trusted our name," she said. "We gave them unsafe parts. They deserve the whole truth." The company replaced every recalled component at no cost. Independent mechanics received payment for labor and documented losses. Naomi also created a safety council with seats reserved for small repair shops. She did not offer Caleb a position. She knew an invitation from her might feel like pressure. Instead, the council selected members through an open application process. Caleb learned about it from another mechanic in Raleigh. "You should apply," Lily said. "I don't want anything from Naomi." "This isn't from Naomi. It's a public program." Caleb read the application twice. The council could inspect supplier records and challenge safety decisions before products reached stores. He applied because the work mattered. 1 month later, Caleb attended the first meeting at a community college in Greensboro. Naomi sat at the far end of the table. She greeted every member the same way. When she reached Caleb, she stopped at a respectful distance. "Thank you for being here," she said. "I'm here for the shops. I understand." She did not ask how he was doing. She did not mention their time together. Then she moved to the next person. During the meeting, a company attorney suggested keeping certain inspection results confidential. Naomi rejected the proposal. "If mechanics cannot see the risks, they cannot protect customers," she said. The attorney warned that competitors might use the information. Naomi closed the folder. Safety is not a trade secret. Caleb watched her take criticism from directors, lawyers, and suppliers. She did not hide behind good intentions. She answered every question. After the meeting, Lily called him. "Well?" she asked. "She's doing the work." "That sounds like a compliment." "It's an observation." Lily laughed. "Sure, Dad." Caleb looked through the glass doors. Naomi was stacking empty coffee cups while the staff packed up. She believed everyone had left. That was when Caleb understood something important. She was still doing the right thing when she thought he was no longer watching. Caleb's phone rang at 4:30 on a Tuesday morning. A mechanic from the safety council sounded shaken. He had found the recalled brake fitting inside a county school bus. 12 more buses carried parts from the same shipment. The buses were scheduled to leave in 90 minutes. Caleb called the transportation director first. Then he called Naomi. She answered before the second ring. "Tell me what happened." He gave her the serial numbers and warehouse code. Naomi did not question his judgment. "Keep every bus parked. I'll contact the state and the manufacturer. The district may ignore me without written proof. You'll have it in 5 minutes." Her order reached the district before sunrise. Every affected bus remained in the yard. Parents received delayed route notices, and no children were placed at risk. Then the board called Naomi into an emergency meeting. The company attorney recommended describing the shutdown as routine maintenance. Publicly connecting the buses to Redline could trigger another investigation. Naomi looked around the conference table. It should trigger another investigation. A director warned that lenders might pull support. Another said the company could lose thousands of jobs. Naomi understood the risk. She also understood what silence had already cost. "We will tell the district exactly what we know," she said. "No careful wording, no hidden dates." The board voted to remove her authority over Redline. The decision passed by one vote. Naomi signed the public safety notice anyway. As chief executive, she still had the power to issue an emergency recall. By noon, state inspectors had found no additional buses in danger. The district thanked Caleb's shop and the safety council. Reporters called him for interviews. Caleb declined. "This is not about me," he said. "It is about the people who finally listened." That evening, Naomi arrived at the community college for another council meeting. She no longer sat at the head of the table. Caleb found her alone in the hallway. "You knew the board might punish you," he said. "Yes, and you still signed the notice. It was the right thing to do." He studied her for a moment. "You trusted me before you had proof." Naomi shook her head. "You had already earned that trust. I was simply late in giving it." Caleb did not forgive her that night. But for the first time, he asked whether she wanted coffee after the meeting. The meeting ended after 8. Caleb waited near the lobby while Naomi finished answering questions from 2 mechanics. She joined him without an assistant, driver, or prepared speech. "There's a coffee shop across the street," Caleb said. "Nothing fancy." "Good," Naomi replied. "Fancy usually comes with expectations." They took a small table by the window. For several minutes, they talked about Lily's college applications, the garage, and the safety council. Then Caleb set down his cup. "I'm still angry about how you came into my life. You have every right to be. I also believe the woman I got to know was real." Naomi looked at him carefully. She was, but real feelings did not make the deception fair. No, they didn't. She did not reach for his hand. She did not ask what happened next. Caleb appreciated that. "This isn't forgiveness," he said. "Not yet. I understand. It's one honest coffee." Naomi smiled. "Then I'll answer every question honestly." Caleb leaned back. "Start with an easy one. Do you actually know anything about repairing cars?" "Very little." "I knew it." She laughed, and the tension finally eased. They did not begin again with promises. They began with the truth, one careful conversation at a time. Naomi had spent years believing control could protect everything she loved. Caleb taught her that trust only grows when people are free to choose it. Do you think Naomi earned another chance? Share your thoughts, and stay with us for more heartfelt stories.